Everyone wants to know about it. But I want to give you a sense of the background to give you a sense of what it is. All right? By all means, let's have a conversation about it because it's important. All right? But what I want to emphasise straight out of the box, this is not about changing your curriculum. I'm not interested. I couldn't care less about your curriculum. And the notion is, I have nothing to do with that. That's your responsibility. That's what you have to respond to your board, to parents, to teachers. That's your responsibility, not mine. What I'm really interested in is changing how teachers teach. It's not about teaching. We've got to stop talking about teaching. The conversation has to be about learning. An exercise for all of you. When you go back tomorrow, or today you'll go back, but tomorrow, okay, if your school hasn't gone out, if you've got some teachers, ask them the question about what is learning, and I will guarantee for you, 95%, every conversation will be about teaching. Now, between you and me and the fence post, I think that's crap. Because I think we've lost the message. Because when you get someone talking about teaching, what are they doing?
Talking about themselves.
Hell, I thought there was 25 kids in that class. And so for us, it's about shifting how they think about it. It's a big shift in how they orientate towards the classroom. So what is the grant? Is there any other, I apologize, I know you want to hear about the grant, because that's why we're here. Okay? Because Amway was, it's a 4-year grant, okay? The one about this grant is different. It is a randomised field trial. That means that there's controls and that there's treatment. And I have to randomise to that. Okay? We'll be randomising at the school building level. Okay? Not at the teacher level, not at the student level, at the school building level. So we understand, for example, in Iowa, that we're going to have some small school districts where there'll be single section schools. We'll have others that as we approach that we may have 7 or 8, 10 buildings. And so when we're talking about at the building level, we're talking about all the teachers, grades 3 through 5. If 6 is in the building, we would take 6. We were going to do 4 to 6, but then I started talking to one of the ADA people who said, "Oh, that's really difficult because most of the buildings are some of the maybe K5." So we're talking 3-5. We know there's never going to be an ideal situation for every school district. We reflect, but it could be 3 through 6 if the grade 6 teachers are there. Bill Theory, the co-PI, is in special education, and part of our look at is also looking at special education kids, the IEP kids, etc. So when we look at the school building, it's those grades 3 through 5 teachers, including the special ed teachers. I'll go into a little more detail on the slides. So in the grant, we have to have 48 school buildings. Okay. As I said, if you've got a K6 building, then the grade 6 people can be involved. In fact, we'd like it to be involved. What's it involved in terms of time commitment for teachers? We have 10 days of in-service built into the grant. $130 a day. We will have 7 days during the summer. We'll have a week and then a couple of days before school starts sometime. So we anticipate something in June and a follow-up sometime in early August, and then we have 3 days during the school year. And I would anticipate those being on a Saturday, merely because you can't get the schools to have people off, and if you drag them 3 through 5, you drag everybody, it just won't work.
So you're looking at the starting for the 09?
No, we have a year, we've got a planning year built into the grant. Everything will start next summer, not this one. Yeah, we're not. No, we've got a planning year. We didn't want to, we just got awarded this in March, and for us to suddenly race around trying to get all this done when everybody's got their summer plans already done, it's just be idiotic. So what we're trying to do is just start this process. We have to get these buildings, we have to start having conversations with the, with the districts. But no, we'd like to get everybody who's going to be involved signed up by December, so that we've got it in place. What we're trying to look, and I was really excited when Kim started this contact, we're trying to look at about 4 regions in the state. 4 sort of cluster areas, so that we would have the summer workshops could be drivable, and we don't have to accommodate. I haven't built into a budget to accommodate everybody, get all the teachers staying overnight, etc. So we're looking, so we have 4 regions. So one here would be absolutely great, because people could borrow the school vans, come in, after 5 days, go home at night, be with their families, and I would only have to accommodate the instructors if I would have to do that.
So are you having all of those buildings sign up that would like to participate, and then you're selecting?
We have to randomise. We have to randomise. Okay. Now, just because that's the grant, it's a research grant, and that's the nature of the grant. However, the in-service for the treatment teachers will have 2 summers of that. So 2 years of data collection in summer, and I'll talk about the data collection. But the control schools, we will offer the workshop in the last summer. So even if you missed out, we would still offer it to you. I've got a slide upstairs. What do you get? Well, I can tell you that what we've built into the budget is that for every school building involved, we've got $10,000 to give to that school building. Now, I'm a mean sort of guy, and I'm going to give you the $10,000 up front, because people tend to like to get their money and run. So it'll be staggered, but over the life of the 4-year grant, we will be giving $10,000 to the school buildings. So districts with 7 or 8 buildings involved, for example, that becomes a chunk of change. That's about 80,000, added up. And we will give that to the school. I can't tell you how to spend it, but our hope is that it can be spent on the science budget. I'm not going to tell you how to spend it. It's not my purview to do that, but we are having that built in. So we will have so 24 buildings. We'll be doing the treatment and do the training, this in-service PD work. And then we have data collection for all schools involved.
Is that electronic, or is that?
ITBS in terms of, yes, I mean, we obviously we want to collect, and I'll show you some data that we've got, but we've got really, there's 2, maybe a third, and the third may be in terms of what each district does for a second one. I know you all do ITBS, but what's your second testing? And we would see if we could collect that, because we would like to track kids over periods of time. The other one that we're really interested in, and I can show you some data that we've got, is we've been using the Cornell critical thinking test. And that only goes from, the lowest they use it is to grade 5. So it wouldn't be for grade 3s and 4s. That gets administered at the start of the year, and at the end of the year, it takes about an hour and a half. It's a sort of whodunit type thing. There's about 70 items on it. Either the kids can do it or they can't, or they get through it. We've been doing it this year. Actually done it for 2 years. I've got first year data results here I can show you. And I haven't got any complaints back from any school district that it's been a real burdensome chore. It tends to take just